Subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon, to never miss a video from us. Hi everyone, welcome to Test Prep Training. In this video you will learn about some commonly asked questions in Microsoft Azure Architect Design. So let's get started. Question number 1. Your company uses Microsoft System Center Service Manager on its on-premises network. You plan to deploy several services to Azure. You need to recommend a solution to push Azure Service Health Alerts to Service Manager. What should you include in the recommendation? Your options are A. Azure Notification Hubs, B. Azure Event Hubs, C. IT Service Management Connector, D. Application Insights Connector. The correct answer is option C. Number 2. You have an on-premises Hyper-V cluster. The cluster contains Hyper-V hosts that run Windows Server 2016 Data Center. The hosts are licensed under a Microsoft Enterprise Agreement that has software assurance. The Hyper-V cluster hosts 3 virtual machines that run Windows Server 2012 R2. Each virtual machine runs a different workload. The workloads have predictable consumption patterns. You plan to replace the virtual machines with Azure Virtual Machines that run Windows Server 2016. The virtual machines will be sized according to the consumption pattern of each workload. You need to recommend a solution to minimize the compute costs of the Azure Virtual Machines. Which 2 recommendations should you include in the solution? Each correct answer presents part of the solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Your options are A. Purchase Azure Reserved Virtual Machine instances for the Azure Virtual Machines. B. Create a virtual machine scale set that uses auto-scaling. C. Configure a spending limit in the Azure Account Center. D. Create a lab in Azure Dev Test Labs and place the Azure Virtual Machines in the lab. E. Activate Azure Hybrid Benefit for the Azure Virtual Machines. The correct answers are option A and E. Number 3. You have an on-premises Active Directory forest and an Azure Active Directory tenant. All Azure AD users are assigned a premium P1 license. You deploy Azure AD Connect. Which 2 features are available in this environment that can reduce operational overhead for your company's help desk? Each correct answer presents a complete solution. Note, each correct selection is worth 1 point. Your options are A. Azure AD Privileged Identity Management Policies, B. Access Reviews, C. Self-Service Password Reset, D. Microsoft Cloud App Security Conditional Access App Control, E. Password Writeback. The correct answers are option C and D. Number 4. You are planning the implementation of an order processing web service that will contain microservices hosted in an Azure Service Fabric cluster. You need to recommend a solution to provide developers with the ability to proactively identify and fix performance issues. The developers must be able to simulate user connections to the order processing web service from the internet, as well as simulate user transactions. The developers must be notified if the goals for the transaction response times are not met. What should you include in the recommendation? Your options are A. Container Health, B. Azure Network Watcher, C. Application Insights, D. Service Fabric Analytics. The correct answer is option C. 5. You need to recommend a solution to generate a monthly report of all the new Azure Resource Manager resource deployments in your subscription. What should you include in the recommendation? Your options are A. Azure Analysis Services, B. Azure Activity Log, C. Azure Monitor Action Groups, D. Azure Advisor, E. Azure Monitor Metrics, F. Azure Log Analytics, G. Application Insights. The correct answer is option B. A company named Conaso Limited has a single domain Active Directory forest named conaso.com. Conaso is preparing to migrate all workloads to Azure. Conaso wants users to use single sign-on when they access cloud-based services that integrate with Azure Active Directory. You need to identify any objects in Active Directory that will fail to synchronize to Azure AD due to formatting issues. The solution must minimize costs. What should you include in the solution? Your options are A. Azure Advisor, B. Microsoft Office 365 Adfix, C. Azure AD Connect Health, D. Password Export Server version 3.1, an Active Directory migration tool. The correct answer is option B. You have an Azure subscription. You need to recommend a solution to provide developers with the ability to provision Azure virtual machines. The solution must meet the following requirements. 1. Only allow the creation of the virtual machines in specific regions. 2. Only allow the creation of specific sizes of virtual machines. What should include in the recommendation? Your options are A. Conditional access policies. B. Azure policy. C. Azure Resource Manager templates. D. Role-based access control, RBAC. The correct answer is option B. Your network contains an on-premises Active Directory forest. You discover that when users change jobs within your company, the membership of the user groups are not being updated. As a result, the users can access resources that are no longer relevant to their job. You plan to integrate Active Directory and Azure Active Directory by using Azure AD Connect. You need to recommend a solution to ensure that group owners are emailed monthly about the group memberships they manage. What should you include in the recommendation? Your options are A. Azure AD Access Reviews. B. Tenant Restrictions. C. Azure AD Identity Protection. D. Conditional Access Policies. The correct answer is option A. You have a hybrid deployment of Azure Active Directory. You need to recommend a solution to ensure that the Azure AD tenant can be managed only from the computers on your on-premises network. What should you include in the recommendation? Your options are A. Azure AD Roles and Administrators. B. A Conditional Access Policy. C. Azure AD Application Proxy. D. Azure AD Privileged Identity Management. The correct answer is option B. You have an Azure Active Directory tenant, named Conoso.com, that contains two administrative user accounts named Admin1 and Admin2. You create two Azure virtual machines named VM1 and VM2. You need to ensure that Admin1 and Admin2 are notified when more than 5 events are added to the security log of VM1 or VM2 during a period of 120 seconds. The solution must minimize administrative tasks. What should you create? Your options are A. 2 action groups and 1 alert rule. B. 1 action group and 1 alert rule. C. 5 action groups and 1 alert rule. D. 2 action groups and 2 alert rules. The correct answer is option B. For more such videos, subscribe to our channel.